research, and transport. We also have those that are in charge of the stores. Commensurate with what obtains in the mother security agencies that we have. So I think the government has been able to put that in place. And we also have what is known as a very reasonable welfare package that will endear somebody who is also ready with passion to sacrifice. The two comes together. There must be passion and you must be ready to sacrifice for you to be a gallant officer of the corps. As to if people can come into the corps, maybe after your school starts, come and serve 3 months before you go on. There are a number of things that are sacred in Amotekun that we are not prepared to share on air. So that is the reason why we don't allow outsiders into our fold. We know what we stand for. And if you look at it to the glory of God Almighty, we've done so much and we've lost almost nobody. Compared to other states, I think we are still the best in that regard. So we are not ready to take chances at all in that regard. Let me see what other thing. Yeah, as to whether the corps is under the radar or underreported like before when we are on air every day. I think we had to change tactics in the last few weeks, and I want to say the press is really, really sensitive to have observed it. We didn't know it was going to be observed. At a point, we found out, let me give you an instance, a situation where rather than passing through the main road with cows and weapons, because we now said so persons were arrested along so road at so town, and we paraded. What they now do is they will go to the nearest bush forestry reserve, drop the cows there, load them with whatever rubbish they want to load, and pass through behind the state to find their way outside the state, since they know they cannot pass through the road. So there are a number of things that I don't want our operations, but it's going to be for this period alone. Thank you.
There's a question on the court. The structure of a court. Are you establishing a court? Court, yes.
Oh, yes. We had issues in the last 6 months by the turnout of criminals we take to courts. And correctional sentenced, that kind of large turnout, where in a day we take 40, 50 criminals to court, suspected criminals to court. The law, as amended 2022 of Ondo State Security Network Agency and Amotekun law, allows us to investigate and also prosecute. So since we commenced prosecution directly, we have what they call unusually very high number of suspected criminals. And like I said, in the magnanimity of the government of Ondo State, about 2-3 weeks ago, we were able to commission a court, in quote, a magistrate court and high court, donated to the judiciary in the Ondo State High Court to ease this lock jam, because it was getting to an extent that at times we take 10, 20, 30 criminals, suspected criminals, to court, and they will not be able to take all of them. So I think substantially, while there is no Amotekun court, the government has been able to assist the judiciary in the dispensation of justice, especially criminal justice, as related to suspects coming in from Amotekun Corps. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guests. Well, we'll take the last round of questions because we're moving gradually to 4 o'clock, and that's going to be 2 hours since we started. So we'll take the last round of questions. One will come from me. I'll take the opportunity to ask one. The DSA will ask one. But my own question, really. Okay, we have one. My question is this. You alluded to the fact that there are structures and processes in place at the Amotekun Corps that guarantee continuity. But we also know that your personality has helped a lot to drive what exactly it is we are witnessing in Ondo State in Amotekun. Of course, when one looks at your pedigree, one understands why you have been able to drive it that much. Are you worried in any way that because in the next 2 years, you will be done with your service at Amotekun? That's the reality. Except the person who eventually becomes governor wants you back, but it may not happen. This is Nigeria. The person will just look for somebody else. That's the truth. So, are you worried that the kind of fire we see with Amotekun today may actually not be sustained when you
retraining, strategizing, research, such that at every point in time we can be on top of situations? You wonder why we've done about 2.5, I call it 2.5 because there are minor elections that took place in Ondo State, and you would never have found anybody accusing members of Ondo State Security Network, president of electrical contractors in Nigeria. I was for 14 years the chairman, Federal Ministry of Power and Steel Rural Electrification. I've done rural electrification in almost all the 774 local governments in Nigeria. In the old 26 local governments of Ondo State, I think in all, I wouldn't have done less than 2 per local government, and all these projects are still functional as we talk, despite the dilapidated state of power in Nigeria. But along the line, I studied security and operational works from the University of Lagos, and I joined so many foreign locals, and I got this training until when I became the principal staff officer to the then Commandant General of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps as a voluntary organization then. And as the PSO, the head of his secretariat, I looked at what benefits civil defense could be, bridging the gap between the very harsh military setting and very low police setting. So I approached the then Commandant General Chief Dr. Abiodun Sande, who I worked with directly, and I told him the benefits inherent in it. We got to a round table and invited all the commandants as a voluntary organization then to Abuja. We sat down. He gave me the option of explaining the need to convert civil defense at that time to a full paramilitary, and he made me the chairman at that time, and we set motions in place until when we got to the associates at that time, and I was the person that defended the bill setting up the Corps in the House of Rep. I consulted the chief whip then, Senator Rolando Wee, who was the chief whip in the Senate, who assisted with the Wala, who was the member house of Internal Revenue in the House of Rep. So we were able to kickstart and drafted the law setting up the Corps together and came up with a first assented copy of the law converting civil defense to a full military, which I personally took to the government printer Lagos, got it gazetted, kick-started, met the federal establishment, and we kick-started civil defense at full paramilitary. At that time, was a deputy commandant general, and that was the rank I was until I left civil defense. So that's my venture. Thank you very much.
Very inspiring.
Retired Akokun Adetunji Adeleye, thanks for being with us all this while, sir. It's almost going to be like the second leg of the question, a soft way. Before that, permit me to say, though we are on live, so I cannot talk much. But I am a witness of the shivers and the fear that the name Amotekun sent to the minds and the spine of the people, the criminals and especially the kidnappers. Because I had an occasion whereby Amotekun was around and someone was being whisked away, and the next thing was, Amotekun, how do we navigate? Where do we turn to? And they did all to maneuver, and they told their victim that if you raise your voice, so we appreciate that, and we can only wish for more. So, sir, I will be asking, you said when Mr. Chairman informed you that journalists here will be taking part of you, you were quick to say, my wife will not allow that. So, sir, I want to say, in the face of all this country, beyond this, were there times that you are like, God, if there should be a way out, I will move on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So, we'd like to take just one more, and that will be, from the chairman and chief executive of the media. So, his own question, we'll wrap it up, and then we can then deal with the other parts of the taking away part of it.
Thank you very much. Just a brief, while the last speaker was talking about the women business, whether you wanted to run away, because that's the, she was just trying to be mild, and I was wondering whether she's, let's face the fact, this is Nigeria. So what has made the difference? Some people take bribe, some people are alleged to be taking bribe in some, whether sister or mother's security service, but yours, you said, it is impossible. And truly, from our experience, it has really been a very good story. So my question is, how have you been able to achieve a system where your men do not take bribe? Are they under oath? What type of oath, if they are? Is it the traditional Ayelala oath or the Christian oath? Or what type of oath? I mean, it's important that Nigerians share with you the secret of that success. And please don't say that is classified. And then the second issue I'd like to also raise with you is that there is the old saying that the African world is filled with witches, and that witches and wizards can actually turn to whatever they wish to turn to at any time. But you spoke very, very eloquently about how you have not only arrested human beings, but you have also arrested cows. And many of us have seen how fit your men really are when they jog along with the cows on the street. But the question is this, that maybe everybody in this room should join us to thank Amotekun Call for actually reducing the number of witches, because they say that sometimes witches may turn to cows. So when witches turn to cow and you arrest the cows, does it follow that you have arrested witches? Witches are assisting you and all that. I think the most important part of the second question is that you spoke about the Okada, what you have done with the Okada. You have to walk 12 hours and get off the road for 12 hours so that we can control crime. But my question is, where you have individuals who have the motorcycle as their source of transport, civil servants, farmers, people who do all kind of works, are you suggesting that they cannot ride their bicycle, their Okada, after work hour, after 6 p.m.? And when they do ride that, how do you identify them? What kind of stress do they pass through with your men? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me just trash out the Okada issue. I think the question would have been, how did we get to this deplorable, sorry state of insecurity in our society? The truth is, the risk that we outside there are exposed to is so enormous, especially in the night, that what the person you consider as an innocent Okada riders suddenly get close to you, pulls out gun, and before you know it, shoots at you. The luck we have, you show the office, coming from office, medical doctor, health facilitators and so on, lawyers who have genuine reasons are being exempted with permission. But the truth is, for the criminally minded Okada people, after 6 p.m. coming out, you are risking losing your Okada for life. Not even fine now, because we had promised the people of the states that this yellow tide, like we did last year, we want to do more in ensuring that people can sleep with their two eyes. So we want to seek the cooperation of the general public to adhere to the law banning the use of Okada after 6 p.m. Whether it's source of livelihood, work for 12 hours, rest for 12 hours with Okada. You can now do other things. There are other means of transportation. Coming to the issue of integrity, yes, as human being, no human being is perfect, but as much as possible, we try, we the members of the Amotekun Court, try as much as humanly possible to live above board. And that is why I said the government had given us a very good enabling environment to thrive. Your salaries are being paid. We have cooperative thrift. We provide medical facilities for our staffs. If you are wounded, we enroll all of them to NSIT. To those that lose or had lost their life, their wives and children are compensated. And what I mean is compensated within a very reasonable time. We're talking of maximum 2 months. They are paid, the families are settled, the children are taken care of. So, if you have all this behind your mind and you are not a greedy person, there is no reason for you to take bribe. That's why it's not that they are not being offered. Some of them are offered money in millions. And we've had instances where this money are brought, we make them use it as pillow in our cell. The money you brought, you use it as pillow to sleep in your cell until when we conclude the investigation, and some of them are prosecuted. So, these are some of the measures physically that we put in place to ensure that our members do not hear. We also have very robust monitoring system. Everybody out there is being monitored. At the end of the year, we promote, even right from the training camp. There are some that they trained together right from the camp before they finish, because they displayed real gallantry, have been promoted before they finish. So these are some of the things that have been put in place. And of course, I did not say so. The chairman said he saw oath. Me, I didn't see oath. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure that the guest has answered the question of the DNC.
I can see you are very passionate about the question of the DNC. Yes, you know the angle a woman will come from, the emotions and there. Well, at the time I took this assignment, it was a decision that was at that time beyond me. The first question that my family members asked me is, what do you want? Definitely is not that. So what do you want? And I let them know that it is service to humanity. And why it concerns, I know this kind of security business is not a part-time job. So I demand and request for their understanding before I can go on. So each time my family members complain that, I will quickly remind them, wait, it's timed. We have agreed that we'll sacrifice. Let all of us sacrifice. And I want to thank members of my meeting for their support. On average, I also thank my mom. We do security review of the state every day, including Sundays.
As we wind down this conversation, may I request that the chairman and chief executive of the media group give us his wrap-up conversation or comments.
Thank you very much. We thank all our viewers in Ondo State, across our country and beyond, for having stayed with us for not less than 2 hours of intense, highly productive, and very, very profitable conversation. It is clear that this country can be better. With what we have seen of Amotekun in Ondo State, it is clear that good people make systems work. The Amotekun core of Ondo State is a great force. It is a succeeding force, and it is a pride of the government and people of Ondo State. There is also the evidence before us today, and all of us have agreed here, that if you put a good man at the top of every structure, there would be reforms that can produce results. First of all, it ought to be clear to even the critics of Amotekun core, the critics of Ondo State government, and the critics of all things that are good, that this Amotekun core has served the purpose of the people. In our opening address, we said that the directive principle of government as enshrined in our constitution is to provide protection and welfare for the people. Governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Akeredolu Oluwarotimi SAN and CON, today we are seeing results. So I wish, ladies and gentlemen, that we give a very resounding round of applause to the government of Ondo State. You have not heard who I wanted us to applaud. I said, I want us to give a rounding applause to the governor of Ondo State, who is the imperator of this beautiful idea. So let us do that. Thank you very much. I also thank the commander of Amotekun Corps, and he has also been able to respond to what we have given him in terms of confidence and results. I want us to also give him a round of applause for providing active leadership. And also the third round of applause should go to all the gallant and confident, courageous men who serve under him. The greatest service is to sacrifice one's life for the benefit of others. Through Mr. Commander, we want to throw a round of applause to your men. Having said all this, I just like to say that when we meet like this, we have a tradition. And that tradition is always titled, Lest We Forget. Because when we meet like this is the whole world and Nigeria listening to us. We do not want what has been said here to be mismanaged. We do not want the guests to be misquoted. We do not want our intentions and the conclusions to be manipulated. Therefore, in the last two hours or so, 26 questions, a total of 26 questions have been asked, and a total of 26 questions have been answered, and correctly, soundly, deliberately, and courageously answered. But I'm going to single out 10 by way of conclusion, so that those who are listening to us at home and everywhere may see that this is what we meant and this is what the commander has said. Number one, the commander has made it very clear that the enlistment policy into the command or into the corps is not political. It is not about who you know. It is also not about favoritism or connection. It is organic. It is based on your competence mentally, psychologically, and otherwise. And he has also said that such recruitment is like a needle with a rope tied to it. Every man who works in the command has the confidence of his community leader. None of them got a job because they are looking for a job. There is an organic route by television. He has said it will not happen for me, for you, or for anybody, no matter how placed they are, to have Amotekun Corps being their gatemen in their houses, being the security to their concubines and their wives, or to the beer parlors where they are drinking or going for parties and see Amotekun men around them scaring people. He said that he prefers to secure the environment if he wants to secure you. After all, security is every man's business. He has also said that people should stop carrying rumors that are unfounded about the structure and welfare of Amotekun Corps, because people have carried the rumors, and I have to thank members of the media here who have shown candor in also raising it, that the Amotekun men are disgruntled, they are unhappy, and they are complaining. The commander has said that that will amount to cheap blackmail. He has spoken glowingly that the men are paid as and when due, and all welfare services that are supposed to be as harmed as possible, and that the corps is desirous of having its men well or better trained, as applies to any security agency, and well armed, but that as it is today, the corps is not ready to break the law of the Federation by doing what is not backed up by law. He has educated us that all structures of law are being exploited by the governor of the state and his colleagues to ensure that Amotekun Corps is armed properly. It is important people go home, or people who are listening to us go home with clear idea of what he has said. He has also told us that in terms of man-to-man protection of lives and properties of people of this state, it is almost impossible for Amotekun to protect every man the way we. Amotekun Corps is not built around a man. He has told us how there's a relevant organogram for running Amotekun Corps in a way that it is not just the individual that matters. It is the structure and the men who come and go that matter. Finally, he has told us that Amotekun will continue to put in its best because it's a lifelong ambition for Amotekun to make sure that it answers to its name, Amotekun, Abo Ara Eni Labo Ilu. He has told us that they are committed and that we have an open line which we can call and Amotekun will respect. There are many things journalists in this room, a few words. For example, if I ask them to go on, they will still ask you the question about this business of the oath. Because it's that kind of oath that I'm interested in. The oath that may make men to stick by the rules of the game and not break that rule. I will advise government through the judiciary to apply that oath. Mr. Commandant Chief Adetunji Adeleye, we thank you. We thank you for the service to your state.
Executive of the Osrc Media Group, our guests, DCG retired Akogun Adetunji Adeleye. We wish to appreciate everyone who came for this event with the guests. We have come to the end of Roundtable for this session. We appreciate your presence and we look forward to having another guest of this magnitude and this courage, next time. Roundtable for this session is over. Thank you very much. And please enjoy the rest of your day.